Deep in the Atlantic Ocean, far away from the western coast of Africa, floats a cluster of volcanic islands. On the map, these islands together form a tiny country, Cape Verde. A nation barely 4,000 square kilometers in size, with a population of around 600,000. There are more people living just in Mirpur, Dhaka. Once a Portuguese colony, this small country has now found its place on football's biggest stage, qualifying for the World Cup, becoming the second smallest nation after Iceland to do so. And the story is nothing short of a fairy tale. Cape Verde has long been known for its breathtaking beaches. After independence in 1975, football in this island nation began on the shores, on sand, with torn nets and worn-out footballs. There was no professional league, no real stadium. Young players dreamt of going to Europe because there were no opportunities at home. In the 1990s, Cape Verde's name was rarely even spoken in African football. In 1998, they were ranked 174th in the FIFA rankings. The team was so unknown that sometimes opponents didn't even know who they were playing against. With no proper domestic league, the best players left for Portugal, France, or the Netherlands. But things started to change in the new century. In 2002, Cape Verde entered the World Cup qualifiers for the first time. By 2014, they came very close, but fell in the intercontinental playoffs against Uruguay. In the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, they stunned Ghana and drew with Egypt. Even this World Cup qualification wasn't easy. Their group had Cameroon, a team that had played in 5 World Cups, with stars like Brian Mbeumo and Andre Onana from Europe's top leagues. On the final match day, Cape Verde's equation was simple: win at home against Eswatini. After a goalless first half, they scored 3 goals in the second half. The small 6,000-seat stadium in Praia exploded in celebration. The president himself was in attendance. A national half-day holiday had been declared so everyone could watch. Together, they witnessed history being made. But none of this came easy. Cape Verde's transformation was powered by its diaspora generation. Players born in France, Portugal, the Netherlands, Ireland, Switzerland. Among them, Roberto Lopez's story feels straight out of a movie. Born and raised in Ireland, Lopez never thought of playing for Cape Verde. Then, one day in 2019, he received a LinkedIn message from the Cape Verdean coach. He joined the team, and the rest is history. Their only player in Europe's top 5 leagues is Logan Costa of Villarreal. Beyond that, their footballers play everywhere: Portugal, Turkey, Russia, Finland, Bulgaria, even Saudi Arabia and the UAE. In fact, their 25 players represent 25 clubs across 16 countries. Hard to believe, isn't it? And we can't forget Lucio Antunes. In the early 2010s, he took charge of the team, a man who worked as an air traffic controller by profession. But in football, he wanted to chart a new path. Under Antunes, Cape Verde reached the Africa Cup of Nations for the very first time in 2013. Drawn with South Africa, Morocco, and Angola, they drew with the first 2 and beat Angola to reach the quarterfinals. That was Cape Verde's first real miracle. In 2020, Pedro Bubista took over. He deserves much of the credit for uniting this team. There are no superstars here. Premier League fans might remember Bebe, who once played for Manchester United. But Bubista's Cape Verde has shown that you don't need big names to achieve big dreams. That's how they overtook Cameroon to reach the World Cup. How players from faraway leagues came together for one flag. Cape Verde's national team is known as the Blue Sharks. They may not be fearsome in the literal sense, but they are hungry, like sharks, for success. And who knows?